In this video, I'm going to show you how to basically put together a very simple collaboration agreement yourself. Now, when you work with someone and you make a song, if you're an artist or producer, you want to put together a minimum of a split sheet. And I have a free split sheet for you. I'll be sure to link that for you down in the description. And if you are watching this live, you can get that by just signing up to be on my newsletter. Just go to topmusicattorney.com. But in any case, what you want to do when it comes to actually putting together a very simple collaboration agreement, the idea is just to have the terms written down somewhere. So this is kind of where you would start. All right, so let me show you my screen, and we literally just opened a Word document right now, okay? Nothing fancy. So we would go in and let's just capitalize, and we'll call this a collaboration agreement. And you and I are sitting down, and we're just going to put our main points onto paper. That's what a contract is. I know there's a lot of boilerplate legalese, things that just make contracts kind of overwhelming, but what I want you to do in this case is just to put down the main deal points. Now, we do this all the time as an actual entertainment attorney. When we're moving real quick, we need to get all of the deal points onto, let's say, 1 page or 2 pages so we can sign, because the long form agreement will end up being 10, 20, 30 pages long, and it's going to take a few days to draft it. It's going to take a week to review it, and then the other side's going to negotiate. So understanding that what we need to do is just get the main deal points in place. This is what I'm teaching you to do in this video. So you have your collaboration agreement. So we'll say we have the artist, and in this artist, we'll have John Smith, stage name J Smooth, and then we have the producer, Jane Doe, business name Beats by Jane. So what you do in any contract is you just define the parties, who is signing the agreement. And then you want to make sure to actually specify the project details. So this is just outlining the details of the collaboration. And I'm going to show you a couple things that you definitely want to have here. But this is going to include things like the title of the project. Okay, so let's even put these as bullet points. So what is the song that we're doing? All right, so we're going to call this the Blue Flower song. Now you can write it just as song, but you can also write this as a sound recording, which is also a master. Okay, so if you can use any of those words and that would be okay. They all mean the same thing. So this would include the title of the project. We did that. A brief description. Okay, so what is this? And you'll say our collaboration terms are in regards to, in this case, let's say the master. We'll say the music video related to the master, which is going to be something that always comes along, and any earnings received as a result of the master. So real simple, real simple. And then other than kind of the intended, point of the collaboration, we're going to think of anything else. So for example, if I am Beats by Jane, okay, so I'm Jane Doe, then let's say I'm the one that's going to release this collaboration. It needs to be stated in this little term sheet that we're coming up with who's going to have release privileges. So in this case, Beats by Jane shall, okay, because it's a command. It's not should, maybe, nothing weak like that. Say shall. Beats by Jane shall have the exclusive right to release the master. So let's say we corrected this. So now every time we say it, it's the same. Master. Exclusive right to release the master on all, let's say, music and social media platforms, right? And then we'll say Beats by Jane shall have the obligation to provide accounting to J Smooth, no less than, and it could be literally anything here, okay? So when it comes to accounting, just be reasonable with it. If you don't think it's going to make money, don't have like, we're going to report, quarterly every 3 months, maybe one time a year. You know what I'm saying? So just base this on what you reasonably want to do. So we'll say no less than 2 times annually. Okay. So again, we're keeping this super, super simple. So we have the description, we have the right of release, we have the payment of the monies, then we say compensation. Typically, when you have a beat supplied by a producer, let's pretend we're paying Beats by Jane. So Beats by Jane shall receive $500 for use of the instrumental in the master, and Beats by Jane shall receive let's say 50% of all. Now we could say royalties. Now this is where I'm going to simplify this for you a little bit. When we get into specifying, is it publishing? Is it the royalties from the master? In a long form agreement, we do get into that kind of detail, but that might not be the level that you're kind of operating at for this deal. Maybe you just need something super simple. And so we can specify and say it's just, and in fact, let's write this out together. Beats by Jane shall receive 50% of all earnings related to use of the master, as well as 50% of all publishing. And what you guys just need to keep in mind is that the earnings of the master and the publishing are two different revenues. So this is why using something like a split sheet, which again, you can get one for free, just make sure to at least sign up on my email list, but check down in the link below, because it just itemizes stuff like this and it goes, what's the name? Do you have a label? Do you have a publisher? So it asks for the most simple, basic questions and then allows you to provide what are the percentages that everyone is getting. But this is where we can actually just draft up something very simple and and just have all of our agreements in one place. So this is where I would type out all the additional things that I could possibly think of in regards to my collaboration with this other person. Okay, so it might be something like, as it relates to social media, Jay Smooth agrees to tag Beats by Jane in all social media posts whenever reasonably feasible. Okay, so thinking through all the potential ways that we could be credited, right? Have our name associated on social media. So, speaking of, credit is another big thing. So, do you see how I'm building this? I'm not being super fancy about anything. I'm literally just putting down the terms as it's been understood between Beats by Jane and Jay Smooth. So, we'll say Jay Smooth shall also credit Beats by Jane as the producer as follows. Okay, and then it's good to even write this out, right? So, what was our song? Blue Flower. So you go Blue Flower, produced by Beats by Jane. And I even like to spell, let's bold it. Let's put it as an actual title. All right. So once you have added all the things you can possibly think of, you have a contract, but you have to have both sides sign it. That's a really, really important step. So even if it's something that is kind of like this skeleton term sheet, which is what this is. It's missing a lot of stuff. There's a lot more stuff that goes into a collaboration agreement to make sure that everyone is protected. But having a basic overview of the terms at least memorializes what you guys talked about, and it is legally enforceable. All right. So, in fact, let's go down here. And so, we'll say all the above terms have been agreed to by Jay Smooth and Beats by Jane. Let's format that a little. As confirmed with the following signatures. And then you could even make this fancy and make it its own section here. Oops. So we could go sig. I'm trying here. Signatures. There you go. And we'll even put it in the middle so it's its own little title. We'll go over here and we'll have a line. And we'll have another line for the date. You see what I'm doing here? So I'm just, very, very simple. So we have signature for the first party. Then on the next line, we can put the date, and then we can just copy and paste this. All right, boom. So this is how we can build a very, very, very simple collaboration agreement that covers the terms of our agreement. Now, let me stress this. This is not legal advice, but just showing you generally how you're able to put together something very simple to properly reflect your agreement. But this is what a term or a split sheet is. A split sheet is just a quick overview of what the deal is. You should always sign it because once you sign it, it memorializes the agreement. You can enforce it. All great things. But of course, at some point when you're kind of doing this real life and you want to be taken seriously, you want to have an actual full-length agreement. And the good news is that once you have one of these agreements drafted, you only need to do it one time. Once you have a template that has the full agreement and all the things in it, then it's just a matter of updating names later on. So I want to take away any, confusion or fear that you have about contracts and to know that it's really just about building the templates that you use. So we cover contracts and discuss them and explain them in detail on this channel. Be sure to subscribe for more videos to help you with your music career and your music business. If you are looking for some help and you want to work with me, you can apply by going to topmusicattorney.com/apply, and I can't wait to hear from you.